How's it, everyone? Welcome to Open Court. So today I'm reviewing the most recent update to a racket that, quite frankly, I'm surprised is even still around, and that is the Head Auxetic Prestige Pro. Let's check it out. So first things first, I'd like to give a quick shout out to On Point Sports. This is where I borrowed this racket. They're always so gracious, always so awesome in letting me test out their rackets and strings. That's where I go to get all my tennis stuff. If you guys are ever in Hawaii, Oahu specifically, go check out On Point Sports. Their website URL is in the description of every one of my videos. So the Prestige line in Head's racket lineup is the most control-oriented line, and it is the most difficult line to use. And quite frankly, I've said in the past that the Prestige line is a dying breed of racket. There are very few modern players who can use this lineup, but they still made an update with their new Auxetic technology, and so I was curious to try this racket. So what's new with the 2021 update to the Prestige Pro? Well, first things first, they changed the naming system, which confuses a lot of people. So the 2021 Prestige Pro was formerly called the Prestige MP. The previous Prestige Pro is now called the Prestige Tour, and the previous Prestige Tour is now called the MP. I don't know why Head did this, but this name change has confused a lot of people. But the good thing is that they reduced the number of submodels in the Prestige line to just 3, the Pro, the Tour, and the MP. Also new with this 2021 update is the new Auxetic technology, which Head has used in all of their other lineups as well. I used the Boom earlier this year with the Auxetic technology, as well as the Speed Pro, and I really like those rackets. The Auxetic is basically a material that's placed in the yoke or the bridge over here, which is meant to optimize ball feedback. So wherever you strike the ball on the racket, it travels down into the bridge, into the yoke, into the user's hand. It's basically meant to improve feel and give you a good response so you feel connected to the ball. Some returning highlights from previous generations of the Prestige Pro is the Graphene 360 Plus, which places graphene at the 3, 9, 12 and the shaft over here, basically to improve stability and a little bit power. Also, two key features which are signature to the Prestige line. That's the box beam construction. So the beam is shaped squared off here like a box, which gives it incredible stability, as well as a full cap grommet going all the way around the head, which further improves stability. The cap grommet and the box beam is what the Prestige series is known for, and they've kept it in just about every iteration of the Prestige line. So the Prestige line is an incredibly difficult lineup to use because it doesn't give you anything for free, and one look at the specs of the Prestige Pro will tell you why. First of all, it's a tight 18-20 string pattern on a 98 square inch frame, so it gives you very little power. It has a low launch angle and good control, but it doesn't give you anything for free. It also has a 20mm straight beam, which is very thin, and so it's very plush, it's very flexible, but it's not going to give you any help with power. Lastly, the 320 gram static weight combined with that full cap grommet going all the way around the head will make this racket incredibly stable and give you good plow through. However, it is not a power racket, and so it's very difficult to swing, and honestly, it's going to feel like a hammer to most people. So all of those things I just mentioned, the specs and everything, make the Prestige line a very niche racket. There aren't very many people who can swing this thing, and there aren't very many pros endorsing this line anymore. But I've always been curious to try the new Prestige. I haven't tried a Prestige since the very first edition of the Graphene, I think back in 2013. So I was excited to give this new Prestige line a try. So let's get on the court and see how it plays. Alright guys, I'm on court here with the new Head Auxetic Prestige Pro. I have used the Prestige line in the past, and it's a very difficult racket line to use, and I haven't loved it really in the past, so I have a feeling I know how this playtest is gonna go, but I'm curious to try it anyway, so let's get on the court and see how it plays. Oh crap. Okay, so right off the bat I can tell I'm gonna have to swing kind of hard to get the ball to even go anywhere deep in the court with this thing. It's so low powered. It's actually fairly comfortable though. Pretty soft, even with an 1820. But it's even more low powered than the Gravity Pro, which also had a thin beam 1820, but this thing is just really buttery smooth. But yeah, I don't think I'm gonna be able to hit winners with this thing at all. It does have a nice solid feel in the sweet spot, but I feel like the sweet spot is really small. It does feel nice and stable though. I mean, the Prestige line has always been stable. Even the Radical, with the ones that come with the full cap grommet, it has a very unique, solid feel. But because of that, it's so head heavy. Yeah, but it feels okay on the ground strokes, but I definitely really gotta swing at it to get any kind of power. And it's tiring. Ugh. Yeah, just in the middle of these warm-ups, just rallying from the baseline, I can already feel myself getting winded. It's tiring to swing this very demanding head-heavy racket. So the racket that immediately comes to mind when I'm hitting with this Prestige Pro is the Gravity Pro, obviously, because they have similar makeup, thin beam, 1820. But the Gravity Pro is a lot easier to swing because it doesn't have a full cap grommet, so it feels a lot head lighter. Usually with more weight in the head, that leads to a little bit more plow through, equaling power, but man, this thing is just, it's just a hammer to swing, and it's just so low powered. I don't know how long I can last with this in a singles match, but that's what the Prestige is for, right? For those advanced players who are strong and can swing this thing. Yeah, I'm tired. So volleying with the Prestige has always been kind of a mixed bag for me because it's incredibly stable because of the full cap grommet. So all I really have to do is block it in front. So it's really good on low volleys, but because of its low powered nature, it's so hard to put away high volleys, and especially if it's a high fast ball. I can't get it up over my shoulders in time to snap my wrist. So I've always had a issue volleying with the Prestige, and this one feels no different. The low volleys feel amazing. I just really have to just block it in front like that. Oh yeah, it goes nice and deep, but the high volleys, I can't put any power on it at all. One good thing about this tight 1820 string pattern, thin beam, is that the slices feel incredibly low and skidding, which is what I want my slices to do. Really gonna have to rely more on placement and my underspin to win points with this at the net. But it is very stable, and because it's so head heavy, I think I like this racket better at the net. Mostly just because it's not gonna drain my stamina from just swinging at the net or on volleys. The punch volleys lack a little bit of punch, but hey, if you're a strong player and you can generate your own power, that's not gonna be an issue. But it is stable and it does get good slice and underspin at the net. So I just got done with my playtest of the Head Auxetic Prestige Pro, and all of my suspicions were confirmed. This is an extremely difficult racket to use. It gives you nothing for free, no free power, tight 1820 string pattern, no easy spin. This was a very difficult racket to use from all aspects of my game, from all areas of the court. The people who can swing this racket are gonna be extremely advanced players only. So I believe the Prestige line is gonna go the way of the dinosaurs and go extinct pretty soon. But not that there aren't good things about this racket, they're just a little few and far between. So the con section is probably gonna be longer than the pros. But let's get into the pros of the Head Auxetic Prestige Pro. So the new Head Auxetic Prestige Pro, from the moment I picked it up, I noticed just how much weight there was in the head. Although it's only listed at 320 grams unstrung and has a 310mm balance, the full cap grommet definitely makes this racket a lot head heavier than what it's listed as. And due to that head heaviness, the racket was incredibly stable, especially on the return of serves and the low volleys. The way I return, I kind of have a short backswing anyway, and I try to make contact in front, which is really how I get to attack returns. The Prestige Pro definitely suited my return game, although I definitely couldn't generate as much pace because of that tight string pattern and the low powered thin beam. but I definitely felt the returns were nice and solid. I was able to get them consistently in the back of the court. It has great control on full swings, but I must reiterate, you really need full aggressive swings to be able to unlock the full potential of the Prestige Pro. It's not a racket that very many people have the skill to wield, and it's very heavy, and so you really need to be able to swing fast with it. Because of its head-heavy nature, it also felt incredibly stable at the net. I really just had to block the ball in front. I don't take a big swing at the net anyway, and you won't be able to get away with a big swing with this racket anyway. You're going to catch the ball late. So if someone like me who just blocks the ball in front, the full cap grommet made every shot feel stable, and I was able to plow through. On the low volleys especially, all I had to do was just stick the racket out in front and the ball went back over the net with relatively little effort. Also, my favorite shot with the Prestige Pro was the slices, because it's head heavy and it plows through the slices very well, and the tight string pattern made the slices stay nice and low. I was able to get the ball deep in the court, be able to keep it low, and be able to approach the net. Unlike most people, I like to use the slice on offense a lot of times. I like to follow it into the net, and I felt like I could do that with the Prestige Pro. Also, I noticed that the Prestige Pro had incredibly good touch. It could be because of the new Auxetic technology. I felt the same way with the Boom Pro when I demoed that earlier in the year, and I feel like the Auxetic makes me feel more connected to the ball, although it could also be the full cap grommet and the response. The response felt very consistent no matter where I hit on the string bed. And it's also a very comfortable racket. It's very soft and easy on the arm. I didn't feel any jarring sensations at all, despite it being a tight 1820 string pattern. The tighter string patterns usually feel stiffer. I didn't feel that was the case at all with the new Prestige Pro, although to my knowledge, it doesn't have any sort of dampening system. They might have just carried it over from previous generations, but I definitely think this racket is soft and plush with its thin, flexible beam, and it will definitely suit someone who is hurting a little bit in the arm. But obviously the name of the game with the Prestige line is the control, and it obviously does get good control, but you definitely have to really be able to swing this thing, and so that leads me into the cons. So obviously the biggest con with the Prestige Pro is that it gives you very little in the way of help in terms of spin and power. I struggled serving with the Prestige, and I've always struggled serving with the Prestige because it just doesn't get enough power. My flat serves, even when they go in, the opponents get it back with relative ease. The slice was probably my favorite. I resorted to that the most because on my slice serve I have the most compact backswing when I hit that serve. But the kick serve is really where I struggled, and I like to use the kick serve a lot on my second serve, and I just felt like all of my kick serves became sitters. I didn't feel as confident following my kick serve into the net in doubles, and so this racket I struggled with the serve a lot, and so a lot of people are going to struggle as well. Also, from the baseline, this racket gives you very little in the way of power, so I definitely can't pass people the way I can with some of my other more powerful frames like the Speed Pro even. Comparing this to the Prince Phantom 100X 1820, that's also a really thin beam 1820 string pattern, but even that racket felt like it had a little bit more help. Because of its low powered nature, I also had a very difficult time putting away volleys at the net. The low volleys were fine because I can block it and it's more of a defensive volley, but any time I had to hit something above my shoulders, I struggled to get the racket up there in time. I hit a lot of volleys late, which resulted in low power. I was unable to put a lot of poaches away. My opponents were able to dig them back. So I really didn't like this racket in terms of the put away. It was definitely stable in terms of keeping the point alive, but I can't put the ball away the way I want to with like a more powerful racket. And lastly, the Prestige Pro, because of its head-heavy nature, is a very, very demanding racket to use. It's very heavy, and I was feeling myself getting tired as the match went on. Sometimes I got so tired in the middle of a long rally that I would get kind of lazy on my swings, and I would hit the ball into the net, or I would sail the ball long because I'm unable to follow through all the way around my body. And so you really have to be a strong player in the best shape of your life. No exaggeration, because the Prestige Pro requires a lot from the user. It's very demanding, it's very heavy, and it's probably not a racket that I would recommend to most players if you don't have the stamina to keep swinging it for long matches. So lastly, who is the Prestige Pro for? This is the most difficult question to answer when it comes to this racket, because the Prestige Pro is probably meant for like 1% of players out there. It's a very, very demanding racket to use, so you need to be fit, physically strong, and have the stamina to be able to swing this over and over, because I definitely think this is more of a baseliner's racket than a net player's racket. So I would recommend the Prestige Pro to like an advanced young, maybe competitive college player who can produce their own power. The Prestige Pro will definitely give you the control to keep your shots in the lines, but it's not going to give you anything for free. So combined with its head-heavy, demanding nature, the Prestige Pro has a very, very small audience. And so this is not a racket that I can use at all. I definitely think someone who's more physically in shape and a better player than me can make better use of the Prestige Pro. But unfortunately, this is not a racket that I would gravitate towards using, and I kind of knew that going in. So no surprise there. But if you're curious to try it, you're an aggressive swinger, I think the Prestige Pro still has a little bit to offer. But again, the Prestige line is probably going to be gone pretty soon. So enjoy it while it lasts, guys. Thank you for watching this review of the Head Auxetic Prestige Pro right here on OpenCourt. Be sure to check out On Point Sports for all of your tennis and sports related needs. If you guys like this content, be sure to overhead smash that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you on an OpenCourt.